Good morning children and welcome back to your chemistry class. So we were doing this chemical kinetics. In this chapter, in the last video we had discussed about average rate. So I shall also discuss about average rate and move to the instantaneous rate from there. It will be a kind of a revision for whatever you have done in the previous one. So what is actually your average rate? Average rate can be said as when the rate of reaction is calculated or determined for a certain interval of time, right? With the change in the concentration of the reactants or products, that is called as your average rate of reaction. And how can we represent this? The average rate of reaction can be represented like this, that is minus delta R, that is the reactant, upon the change in the time, which is equal to the positive delta, that is the product, upon change in the time, right? So if we talk about this further with respect to the graph, so suppose if we take a graph over here, and this is your reactant, your your y-axis is your reactant, right? And your x-axis, we take the time. So if this is equal to 0 at over here, when time is equal to 0, then let us see what happens to the concentration. We know that the concentration decreases, right, of the reactant decreases when the reaction proceeds. So suppose this is the concentration of the reactant. So what are we going to observe? There will be decrease in the concentration as the reaction proceeds. This point is clear? Now, suppose if this is the time T1, then what is the concentration of the reactant? Let us look over here. If this is the concentration, then C1 is the concentration of the reactant at the time T1. If it is T2, then let us look at the reactant. The concentration of the reactant decreases. That is, it becomes C2. So what do we see over here? We see that the C2 is quite less than C1, isn't it? C2 is less than C1. Over here we can say that the rate of change of concentration, that is delta C upon change in time, this is equal to what? C2 minus C1 upon T2 minus T1, right? Now since rate of reaction is never negative, so what do? We do this minus, and therefore this also becomes minus, right? So the average rate of consumption of reaction will always be shown how? With the delta, right? That is delta C over here. In the finite time, we are going to show it with the delta. Now, suppose if the concentration of the reactant is asked over here. So let us look at the time over here. Time over here is T is 0, because we cannot measure the time because it does not fall into the range. Therefore, over here, what do we say? That we are going to then the reaction will be termed as instantaneous rate of reaction, right? So the instantaneous rate of reaction, how can we define it? It is defined as the rate of change of concentration of any one of the reactants, or just now I'll speak about the product, at a particular instance, right, or a particular moment. Then mathematically, how do we express instantaneous rate of reaction? It will be expressed with D then. Minus D C, that is the reactant over here, the concentration upon dt, right? Or it could be written for the product Now let us look at one more graph. This is your product, okay, and this is your time. So what do we know about the product? It increases, the concentration increases with the increase in time, and a time comes when it comes at equilibrium. It reaches the equilibrium, so we show it is coming to an end, right? So over here, if we see, this was time was 0. Now if the time reached is T1, the time reached is T1. So let us look at the concentration of the product. It is C1. At time 2, when the time increases, the concentration is also increasing, C2. So here we can say the concentration of C2 is more than the concentration of C1. Clear? Therefore, we can say delta C upon delta T will be equal to what? C2 minus C1 upon T2 minus T1. Now over here we are not going to put minus. Why? Because rate will be positive. So finite time maybe we use delta. Is this point clear? Now again we come to talking about in terms of instantaneous rate of reaction. Now what is instantaneous rate of reaction? Till here about average rate of reaction is clear. Now we are going to talk about instantaneous rate of reaction. So the instantaneous rate of reaction is defined as the rate of change of concentration of any one of the reactant or the product at a particular instant or a particular moment of time, right? Then instead of writing delta, we are going to use the word D. So let us understand this first and then I will explain it to you. So if we talk in terms of reactant, okay, so as I had told you that the concentration decreases. This is what I had told. This is your reactant, isn't it? And this is your time. So suppose my reactant, I haven't taken it over here. I should have. Though let me take it as A. If I take my reactant over here, it is A. Then the slope we need to see that we are going to first form a tangent, right? So suppose we have to find out the instantaneous reaction over here, the instantaneous rate of reaction over here. Now if you look over here, the time T is equal to 0, right? So we draw a tangent over here. Suppose this was the point, I have drawn it over here. So we draw a tangent now which passes from this particular point, right? So this is my theta angle formed. So slope, it is always equal to tan theta. Clear? So this, as I told you, it is represented now, instantaneous rate of reaction will be represented now not with delta but with D. So what can we write? It will be dA upon dt. And always remember that the slope of this line, right, it is always equal to change in the concentration with respect to rate of time. I hope this point is clear. Now if we check this graph over here, then this is your product, right? That let your product be C. Let it be C, suppose. Okay. Then this is your time, right? And what did I say? It increases. Suppose it is showing increase. Now we form the Suppose I want to know the instantaneous rate of reaction over here. Let it pass from here. So my tangent, if it passes from here, it will be somewhat like this. Okay. So over here, what will you see? Slope is equal to tan theta. And where is your tan theta? If we extend this line, then this is your theta. Okay. So slope is equal to tan theta. This will be equal to dc upon dt. I hope this is clear. So graphically, the two rates of reaction can be represented like this. Right? Now let us do one question based on it. It says N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. You have to find out the rate of reaction and find out of N2. Okay. So now if we draw the graph, we see over here. Now suppose this is the time. Okay. That goes in seconds, and this is the hydrogen, right, which will be given in moles per liter. The graph given to you is so at 2 seconds the concentration of hydrogen is 10 moles per liter, and at 4 seconds the concentration is 6 moles per liter. Now you have to calculate ROR and ROD of N2, right? So let's see, ROR will be equal to what? Minus 1 upon 1 D reactant N2 upon dt. This is equal to minus 1 upon 3 D H2 upon dt, right? So this will be equal to half D NH3 upon rate and change of time. Now look at the graph, right? If you look at the graph, dH2 upon dt, right? Now look at the slope. If you look at the slope, which is equal to tan theta, that means y2 minus y1, right, will be upon x2 minus x1. So what is y2 minus y1? Y2 10 minus, no, sorry. So what is y2 minus y1? This was 2, then this is y1 and this is y2. This is x1, this is x2. So y2 minus y1, that is 10 minus, so y2 minus y1 means 6 minus 10 upon x2 minus x1. What is x2? 4 minus 2. This is equal to minus 4 upon 2, isn't it? So this becomes how much? Minus 2 moles per liter per second, right? So now let's find out rate of reaction. This is minus 1 by 3 dH2 upon dt. So this is equal to minus 1 by 3 into minus 2 This is going to give us 2 by 3 moles per liter per second, right? Now let's calculate ROD of N2. So this will be equal to how much? 2 by 3 moles per liter per second, right? I hope this is clear. Now let us understand the factors which affect the rate of reaction. Okay, so the first factor is the nature of the reactants. So the reactions involving polar and ionic reactions, they are quite faster, whereas the covalent compounds, they are much slower, right? Then second point also depends on the concentration of the reactants, that is rate of reaction, it increases with the increase in the concentration of the reactants. Then third point also depends upon the temperature, that is rate of reaction, it increases with increase in temperature. Then fourth point, what about catalyst? The presence of catalyst, you already know, it enhances the rate of reaction. Enhances the rate of reaction, right? For example, if you look at this graph, right, this is the cause of reaction, right? And if we talk about energy over here, then we'll see if this is, here is the reactant, okay, and here is your formation of product. So if we are not using the catalyst, then your rate of reaction goes like this, right? So this is your activated energy. This is your activated energy. Is that clear? So this is what without catalyst. But when you add the catalyst, then the activated energy, it decreases. The activated energy after adding catalyst, it decreases. Hence we can say that the rate of reaction, it increases, right? Then the fifth point, we talk about surface area. If one of the reactant is solid, then the rate of reaction increases with the increase in the surface area of the reactant, okay? Then sixth point, if we talk about physical state of the reactants, then always remember, for physical states, always remember that gases, they are more reactive than liquids, than the solids. Now why so? In the gases, due to random motion of molecules, collision occurs faster and therefore it favors rate of reaction. Whereas in solid, the collision is minimum. So molecules are packed and therefore rate of reaction is much slower as compared to gases and liquids, okay? Then seventh point, talking about intensity of light. Certain reactions like photochemical reactions, they are highly sensitive towards light, therefore they are photochemical reactions. They are called as photochemical reactions or photosensitive reactions. For example, you already know hydrogen plus chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet photons or ultraviolet rays, they form highly reactive. They are highly reactive and they form HCl. Right? So intensity of the light, we can say it increases the rate of reaction. That is, if number of photons increase, then it also increases the rate of reaction. I hope this all is very clear to you. Now we shall discuss about dependence of reaction on concentration, that is law of mass action. Okay, law of mass action. So it is given by Guldberg and Wag. So according to this law, at a given temperature, right, the rate of reaction is always directly proportional to the product of the molecular concentration of the reactants, with each term raised to the power of stoichiometric coefficient as represented by the balanced equation. What did I say? That at a given temperature, the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional, okay, try to understand, to the product of the molar concentration of the reactants, with each term raised to the power of stoichiometric coefficient as represented by the balanced chemical equation, right? So over here we can say that your molar concentration is actually equal to the active mass. So if I write down an equation plus QB, this gives me RC plus SD. So how are we going to write? Then rate of reaction, right? R, as I said, read the definition, directly proportional to the power of P, B to the power of Q, right? This will be equal to the rate constant, A to the power of P, B to the power of Q, right? Now, based on theoretical fact, So this is called as your rate constant. It can also be called as specific rate constant or velocity constant, right? So once again, to understand what do we mean by dependence of reaction on concentration, the more we add the concentration of the reactant, the more will be the rate of the reaction, right? So this chemical reaction, it means the collision between the two molecules. The more the collision, more the chemical reaction proceeds to form the product. So when there will be more collisions, when the concentration of the reactant is directly proportional to the concentration, right? And this theoretically is written like this, or we can also write that rate is directly proportional to the concentration. But remember, when experiments are conducted, scientists, they found that rate not only depends upon this concentration, but it also depends on the factor called as to the power of that I have written over here, right? So where this is called as your order of reaction, to the power of, which is called as your order of reaction. So before I begin to go more in detail to explain you, again I would like to first introduce what Goldberg and Wag had said with respect to concentration and the effect on it on the rate of reaction. So what did he say? That at a given temperature, the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of the molar concentration of the reactants, with each term raised by the power of stoichiometric coefficient as represented by a balanced equation. Clear? Now, also remember that according to their theory, it was applicable only for simple and elementary simple step reactions, right? Over here, like the order of reaction do not have any relationship with actual the stoichiometric coefficient relationship of the chemical reaction. Over here, the stoichiometric coefficient is found by balancing the equation. But we can balance the equation by different ways, so the coefficient will also change every time. Now, like for example, देखो ओफो चिल्ला लो अरे भाई मना कर दो मम्मी ने ना कहा चुप रहोगे, हम पढ़ा रहे हैं। कब से हम चुप इसीलिए बैठे कि तुम चुप हो जाओ। बच्चा बोले अकी बाथरूम में कपड़े हैं, वो तो दे दो उसको। अच्छा बाथरूम में कोई कपड़े नहीं, टी शर्ट वी शर्ट कोई नहीं टंगी है। चलो जाओ, ये दे दो, ये ले लो, भैया के हैं। बस 10 मिनट और ना बोलो, हम बस खत्म करें। ठीक आप पढ़ाओ, हमने सोचा बच्चे हैं बस। Now let's see another example, like AA plus B, this is going to give us C. So now over here, rate will be directly proportional to what? A to the power of A, B to the power of B, right? So your rate will be equal to the rate constant A power of B. So if A is equal to B is equal to 1, then what do we say over here? That your rate of reaction is equal to the rate constant. Clear? Now to find the unit of this rate constant, so how can we find out the unit of rate constant? Now if we go back to this equation, we will see that K is equal to R upon A stoichiometric A upon B. So this will be equal to mole upon liter into time, isn't it? So this will be, where should I write? Let's look over here. Into 1 over mole per liter. I hope you all can see there. A plus B. Okay. So this will be equal to moles per liter into time minus 1 into 1 over moles per liter into N. Thus, what shall be our unit? I'll write it down over here. The unit of your constant becomes mole upon liter 1 minus N into per time, right? I hope this is clear. So we shall now study about the order of reaction. If this you have understood, based on this we are going to study about the order of reactions. So let us understand first the zero order of reaction. Okay, so that is when n is equal to 0. When n is equal to 0, then what is the unit of your constant? Then what is the unit of your rate constant? This will be equal to what? Mole per liter. Now n is 0, 1 minus 0, okay, per time, right? So this K, the rate constant, is equal to 1 minus 0 is 1, moles per liter in per time. Clear? Therefore, if you get the unit moles per liter per second, this means it is your zero order. This is your zero order. Okay. Then coming to the second one, that is first order. Now over here, when n is equal to 1, so K will be equal to, your rate constant will be equal to moles per liter, 1 minus 1 per time, right? So this will be equal to what? Mole per liter to the power of 0 per time. Anything to the power of 0 is 1 into per second. So we can say the rate constant for the first order will be what? Could be 3 per second, maybe 5 per second, and so on, right? Maybe 6 per hour. So when you get per time, then it is called as first order. Now let us understand for the second order, the third one. Second order. This is your zero order. Second order. Now over here n is equal to 2. So now K is equal to what? Moles per liter. 1 minus 2, that makes it minus 1 per time, right? So this is your second order, right? Another one, the fourth one, let's see. The pseudo first order. The pseudo first order. So over here in the pseudo first order, the concentration of water is too high in comparison to the reactant, right? So over here your R will be equal to COC2H5, right? So if we take the reaction, so what do we understand by pseudo first order? The pseudo first order reaction is the reaction in which the concentration of the water is too high as compared to the other reactants. For example, like if I take CH3COOC2H5 and we add water to it, right, in the presence of any acid, then we get CH3COOH plus C2H5OH, right? So over here your rate of reaction will be equal to the rate constant. Where water is more, it will be written like this, K0, and then you write down the reactant CH3COOC2H5. Okay. So that's all for today. Based on this, we are going to do some numericals in the next video. Thank you. चनू आओ, इधर आओ जल्दी. ये सब फटाफट हटाओ, उसको यूज में लगाओ, फटाफट जल्दी जल्दी हटाओ. मैं जा रही हूँ नीचे खाना.